This is an ant, and this is Langton's ant. Langton's ant is pretty stupid compared to its real-life counterpart. After all, it's just a square invented by some oddly handsome dude in 1986. But what does Langton's ant actually do? It starts on a grid of white squares with an ant in the center. If the ant is on a white square, it turns right and leaves a black trail. But if the ant is on a black square, then it turns left and leaves a white trail. At first, nothing really happens. The ant just creates an expanding static blob. But after speeding up the simulation, we can see this happen. Langton's ant is a prime example of emergence, when you take rather simple rules and out of them comes lifelike behavior. But after a while, this gets pretty repetitive. Langton's ant will go on forever and ever with these patterns, and eventually it'll all become static again. But what if we added other colors and other moves? What emergent behaviors would we see? First, we generate a bunch of colors depending on the number of rules you want. Oh, and don't forget white. Then, each color gets a move assigned to them. These moves can be left or right like we see in the original version, but also a full 180 or just keep going straight. Even diagonal moves are on the table here. When the ant lands on a color, it makes the corresponding rotation and movement, as well as leaving a trail of the next color in the sequence. So let's run the simulation. Immediately, we begin to see some emergent patterns occur. So many that it feels impossibly unique and so far different from each other simulation. Every time I hit this button, a new fractal, a beautiful new pattern is presented in front of me. Remember, I'm not telling the ants to make circles or paths or zigzags. The ants simply do as they are told and create these incredibly lifelike patterns. With 30 colors, there are statistically more than 2 nonillion possible combinations of rules. That's this number for reference. I don't think people understand how astronomically large this number is. If it took you 1 second to look at each combination, it would take you 66 sextillion years. That is many trillion times longer than the heat death of the universe. Okay, this is already very cool, but it's really difficult to capture the full scale of these simulations with such a small grid size. So what if we increased it? And if we're planning on increasing the grid size, we can also use more ants to fill it up. So let's just octuple the dimensions of the grid. And while we're at it, add 99 ants to fill in the space. And now, these patterns are getting really cool. This one reminds me of one of those plasmodial slime molds. But while these patterns are even larger and prettier, most of these simulations feel pretty similar to last time. Having 100 ants perform the same action 100 times leads to these very predictable patterns. So let's head back to the drawing board. Previously, we had one rule set that every ant followed identically. But this time, we will generate a unique rule set for every individual ant, meaning that each ant will respond to the colors differently. Hopefully, this will break up some of the patterns and repetition that we saw before. Let's run the simulation. I really like this because it's a lot less predictable than the previous iterations. Like each ant has its own personality. It very much resembles the various jobs each ant would have in a real-life colony. This is also really nice for hunting for the most unique patterns since we were presented with so many at once. Such as this pattern, or this one, which I found really unique. Thank you for watching until this point. I'm a small creator and this is my first content of this type. It would be much appreciated if you could leave a like or even subscribe. So thank you.